Hey friends, it's me, the Ebony Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. So the last video that I did on getting into Warhammer a few weeks ago for my little bitty channel, it did quite well. So I thought, that's something that people might want to know more about. So today I have for you an unboxing of the game that I received as a birthday present. Yeah, I got this as a birthday present this year from the Hubs. It is an already together Warhammer board game, Warhammer 40,000 specifically, and it's called the Heroes of Blackreach, and we go unbox it and talk about it. So first things first, I've got to get this reflective plastic off of this thing because, I mean, the glare is real. But these games are really, really great. When I say these games, I mean board games. So ones you can buy at like the Target, the Wally World, depending on where you are, maybe Hobby Lobby, I don't know. But they're available at retail. You can get them on Amazon, websites, whatever. Of course, you can buy them directly from Games Workshop. But here's what's great about the board games. One, you don't have to build. There is no you buying a set of plastic figures that come in 1,000 pieces, putting them together, and then figuring out how to put them together to make the army of your dreams, and then painting them and blah, blah, blah. And then only to show up to a tournament to find out that you didn't have the right amount of colors. So no, you can't play our reindeer games. So yeah, there's that. Then also all the rules are in here. Everything you need to play is in here. So game boards, terrain, whatever, dungeons or whatnot you're going through, all of it is in here. And it's all within the Warhammer universe. So I thought it'd be fun to open this up and just give you an idea of what one of these games is like. We have another Space Marine game, and I think I'll take you through that one as well because it's super fun. We've played it like 3 times now, and we still have like 2 more dungeons to go through because we're battling Necrons, and they just they're scary, but it's fun. But this is an easy way to get into it because even though these board games they're not cheap. I think this particular guy was somewhere between $50 and $75. But let me tell you, I got a box back there on the floor. Can you see it? No, you can't. My Ferris wheel's a little higher because it's sitting on top of that. I've got a Horus Heresy box that I received as a Christmas present. Living my best life. That comes with many, many pieces. Enough for 2 armies. And there's a Terminators in there. There's a Dreadnought in there. There's a tank in there. It comes with a rule book. But I have to put all that together, paint it, and the rest. Like, it's going to be work. And that box was over $300. So, way more affordable. And has tons of replayability. Now, I've got the cellophane off. Let's actually take a look at this thing. So before even opening the box, was actually under the cellophane, and I thought it was the back of the box. It is not the back of the box. It was over the back of the box. So on the front, we have Ultramarine, Space Marine. So the reason I know they're Ultramarines is because of the color. They're blue. Ultramarine blue is a very specific blue. And on the back is the Orcs, which this is great. Because I don't think this is a co-op game. The other Space Marine game we have is a co-op. And what that means is you are working together. Other games like that would be something like Pandemic, where you are, as a table, it's a table versus the board. So you're trying to beat the game as a group. But this was a you versus them. And this is why knowing your nerds is so important, because I'm a huge Space Marine fan. So I'm going to be building in my box over there. One of the armies I'm going to build is an Ultramarine army, and the other one will be Salamanders. It comes with 2 armies. But my husband loves him some Orcs and Grots. So guess who he's going to play as? Look, I know it's impossible for 2 people to have everything in common, but this is why getting to know folks is really important. I had no idea when I met him that he was already painting up Grots and Orcs just because he liked them, but he had never really gotten into the game. I show up and I'm into the lore and the game. He was already reading the Grot novels because they're funny and he reads sci-fi, but I handed him my favorite, Eisenhorn, and he finished it relatively quickly and got other family members reading it as well. And then vice versa. Like, I played Magic as a kid, Magic the Gathering, but I had no one to play with for a long time, so it fell off, and the game's changed a lot. But my family got me my own playing mat with Sailor Moon on it, because I love Sailor Moon, and then they got me the Commander decks for Warhammer, which we're going to look at those too. So that gets me back into it, because now I'm playing as characters that I like and are endearing. So your nerdy matches out there, take the time to get to know the person, like really know them, because you're going to find out you have these weird crossovers that make your nerdity more fun. It's not my nerd versus nerd, it's our nerdity together. Anywho, $50 to $75, I believe. In fact, let me look it up on my other phone. You have two phones? Sure do, for reasons. Let's see here. We gonna ask the Googler how much it is. Let's see what the Googler says. I just set this phone up and I have like no idea where anything is on it. All right. Yes. Continue as me. Really? This is what we're doing? I don't want to sign in. Not right now. How much is the Warhammer 40,000 Heroes of Blackreach game? Oh, I was spot on the money. The lowest I see it listed somewhere, and it's used, is $42, and the highest I see is $74.99. So yeah, I was right. Sounds like a lot of money, but considering that box back there is $300, and then you got to buy paint. The paint's not in there. Okay, it's just the figures. No primer, no airbrushes, just gray plastic. You're gonna have to do something with. This is already done. So if you want to play Warhammer, like if you've gotten into the lore, you think it's great, or it's just too intimidating to play the full game. You know, when I say the full game, even one-page rules, you've got to have figures, you know. Now, nice people will let you borrow their figures, and I'm sure there are nice people out there you can find. If you can't, these exist. Oh my God, it's heavy. Let's open it up. I love a heavy game because that means there's tons of cool stuff in there. So, woo, the best part. As you open the box. So I'm going to set this over here so nothing happens to it. Sitting in my new recording chair over there. So first thing we got are the rules. I love the art. Like, my goodness gracious. Oh, I told a fib. This is not from Games Workshop. This is from Devil Pig Games. I'm sure they licensed this from Black Library and Games Workshop. They would have to, otherwise lawsuits. Which is great because there are people out there that are just great at making tabletop games. Like in one of my recent shorts when I went over a bunch of games that we got for Christmas, there's a company out there, if you've ever played Happy Little Dinosaurs, or if you have played, what's the other one? Oh, hold up, brain. Hold up, my brain's not working. Unstable Games. They made Happy Little Dinosaurs, Here to Slay. We just got another game from them. Those people know how to make a game, and we're kickstarting their latest. So people who make board games know what they're doing, and they make a good, engaging game. Card games can be very intimidating. Like right now, I'm relearning how to play Magic, and it's hard. It's hard. I'm going to just freely admit it. Because when I was young, I haven't played for 15, 20 years. Full disclosure. Because the people that I played with, I'm not friends with anymore. We all went to college and weren't friends anymore, just because that's what happens. So I didn't play it for a long time. And I promise you, the game I played when I was 17 is not the game that's being played now. These are different games. So I'm having to like relearn how to do it. And it can be very intimidating and frustrating because everything in Magic just, oh, good God, every time you pull a card, everything changes. Anyway, I digress. But I'm learning. But having Space Marines cards, okay, all right, I get to be a bad in the spoiler. We can talk. But anywho, so we've got your whole rule book. I'm kind of glad to see that it wasn't done by Games Workshop because I know of Devil Pig and they can make a good game. So let's do it like a storybook. Ooh, art. Look at them. Look at that. Just, oh my goodness. Man, I can't look too much because I have Marines to paint. You don't want to copy somebody else's paint scheme, but man, the greatest form of flattery is imitation. So in here, you got your game overview. I love that because it tells you what the objective is. We're going to look at that in just a second. So you've got the overview, ready for action, the different types of battlefields, the units and abilities, action cards, effect markers, recruitment tiles. So here's what's great about these types of games. You can learn them as you play. It looks like a lot. It is. But as you go, you will actually pick it up. Like there's a game we played last night that neither of us had played, and we just muddled our way through it. Same thing with the Space Marines game that we're going to look at in a little while. Not today, but next video maybe. We picked it up as we went, and just like, oh, this is what you do. And it's like, okay, I get it. All right, I'm doing a thing. And I love games like that because you can literally play them and read the rules and do it. Risk is like that. Love Risk. I love me a tabletop war. They're just great. But then we've got like what the powers are, how to recruit, other things. So let's read here and see what this game is going to be about, because I don't honestly know except orcs and ultramarines. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and the master of a million worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. Yet, even in his deathless state, the Emperor continues his eternal vigilance. Mighty battle fleets across the demon-infested miasma of the warp, the only route between distant stars, their way lit by the Astronomicon, the psychic manifestation of the Emperor's will. Vast armies give battle in his name on engineered super warriors. Greatest amongst his soldiers are the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines. Their comrades in arms are Legion, the Imperial Guard, and countless planetary defense forces, the ever-vigilant Inquisition, and the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus, to name only a few. But for all their multitudes, they are barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat from aliens, heretics, and mutants, and worse. To be a man in such time is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods. Can you tell I was a theater major? Now we'll read the game overview. So, game overview. In the Heroes of Blackreach, so that's where we are. We're in Blackreach. You take command of a detachment of humanity's finest warriors, the Ultramarines. She's right. Of the Adeptus Astartes. Or a mob of battle-hungry orcs in a bitter no-holds-barred fight. Ooh, I like it. The scenario you choose will determine what forces you have at your command, as well as your objectives. What you have to do is claim the victory. The action is fought upon the battlefield made of one or more terrain boards, which depicts the terrain elements that your warriors must contend with during the fight. So they gave you everything you would need, like you had built a battlefield for Warhammer. This is great. Your forces are represented on the battlefield by unit counters. Each counter shows all of the information you need to use that unit in the game. Its combat value, the defense value, movement value, and other special abilities the unit can use. To help you build and organize your forces, Heroes of Blackreach use a system of recruitment tiles and recruitment options. During the game, these help you keep track of your forces and their abilities, and they record that they have reached the breaking point. During each game turn, you will secretly use your order tokens to determine which of your units will command and take actions and the order in which they'll act. Each of these units may take a movement action to maneuver into a better position or claim an objective or attack your enemies by taking a firing action. And your opponent will alternate, taking turns to activate one unit at a time. Once all of your order tokens have been activated, the rest of your forces will have a chance to maneuver. Then you will prepare for the next game turn. But Heroes of Blackreach is not just a game of tactical battles. As it befits the tortured battlefields of the 41st millennium, it is also a game of heroic action. In addition to stalwart warriors and mighty engines of war, you will also command brave characters, cunning leaders, and their own skills and talents, or perhaps mysterious psychers with eldritch and unfathomable psychic powers. The whims of the gods of war are represented by action cards, which can give you just the edge you need to turn the tide of battle, as well as a stratagem in the end. The commander who can best lead his troops to complete their mission objectives will be the victor. So read on, brave warrior, and prepare to face the crucible of war, if you dare. So I love everything about that. Granted, this is a whole rule book, but they just told you how to play. So again, Devil Pig Games, very well done. So that little overview is enough to get you started. And as you play, you read is what you do. So next is you're ready for action. And just follow it and play. Play through a couple of rounds to figure it out. And they tend to be pretty straightforward. Like the other Space Marine game we have as you're going through the dungeon. The dungeons are all little pre-configured boards, but then we randomly draw to figure out where the Necrons are going to be and where they're spawning from. We randomly draw to figure out what our entry point is, and then we have to do certain actions to figure out where our exit is, and the goal is to get all of your Marine squad out without the Necrons, getting them. And the baddies you face and the complexity of the dungeon gets progressively harder as you defeat more and more. And what's cool is the game will change every time because the drawing of the Necrons, or who gets to take a turn, the Necrons or you, it changes every single game. Like it's actually so well done, that particular game. I will review that one next on the next Warhammer Wednesday. That game is so great, you could honestly play it by yourself because it's you versus the Necrons. It's great if it's two-player, if you've got two people, so it's two people playing as the Marines versus the Necrons. But if you got no one to play with, that's a good... We're going to look at that one next, for sure. But yeah, just play the game. So we have a rule book. Let me get back to unboxing. This is... Oh, these are the different scenarios. Okay, so I love a game with replayability. You want to look for that in these games. If you can only play it once, no. That's why Uno is still with us, because you can keep on playing it. And the game will be different every time. So, different scenarios. So it tells you about the Ultramarines, the rules for these different scenarios. Let's see here. Oh, and the different types of terrains you have. So when I say terrains, here, you lay the board down. When you play the traditional, it's made up. Anyway, but we play the regular Warhammer, you build terrain, or you go somewhere where terrain is built. We live in a town with tons of hobby shops where you can just go use their terrain. But when we get our hobby room built, we'll have our own terrain. But it's got like representations of trees and walls and all that kind of stuff you need to have a grand old time. This tells you what everything's worth, and it even gives you examples of how to play. So, good job. Yep, they make it easy. So it gets through all of the Space Marine side, and then it takes you to the Orc side. And you get to see what all the Orcs can do. So let's get to the stuff in the box. So like I said, heavy box. You know, spend $50, $75 on a game, there better be a lot of stuff in the box. And it better have replayability. So first things, here's the terrain, and these are double-sided. So that's great. That adds to the replayability. There's 1, 2... 3, 4. Oh God, there's a bunch. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. There's 12 of these. Oh, and they're textured. What? Nuh-uh. Oh, there's texture on some of these. Oh, that's not texture. That's not a game board. I should have flipped it over. These are punch outs. That's not texture. Ha 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 ha. We're going to set these down. I just lied about how many terrains there are. I will say the punching out of the pieces is quite satisfying. So, I lied a lot, it looks like. Okay, so it looks like there's 5. 6. Okay, so there's 6 terrain boards. 6. Okay, and the good thing is, because each one of them is two-sided, that there's a lot of combinations here. What do you math people tell me? So there's 6 two-sided boards. How many combinations of terrain would that make? I'm not going to figure it out. I was a theater major. We don't math. Calculators exist, but I don't know that formula. The next thing is, of course, is all your tokens and punchables. I would highly advise for games that have all these itsy pieces, like, oh, let me hold it up. Holding it up careful so I don't accidentally punch some out, because the most satisfying part is the punching out. But I would highly, highly recommend with these that you have like little dishes where you keep pieces. So we play Firefly, we play Pandemic. We just got another big hero game. There's obviously this. They all come with lots of little bitty pieces. Even if all you're playing is D&D or Magic the Gathering and you need a place to set your dice and your extra tokens and stuff, get little dishes. Go to Dollar Tree, Dollar General. I don't know what it is. Oh, Poundland. Yeah. Go to your local cheap store and find like itty bitty dishes that are cheap. Or we even got some that are like plastic that have trays of 3 where we can like put the bits while we play. That way you don't lose them all over the table. And these games that turn into mats and they take over the table, I also highly advise getting a dice tray. That way you don't lose your dice. I mean, take your risk. You want to roll it across the board and knock things over, do that. We have a dice tray. We have a dice tray and a dice tower. So I would highly recommend that, because every one of these has to be punched out, and there's 6 of them that have to be, which is why I'm not doing it now, because I don't have my places to keep them in here, so I don't want to lose anything. There's a few more things in the box. So of course there's going to be card decks in a game like this. You've got your Ultramarine deck, and then you've got your Orc deck, and these of course are going to be what you're doing, the actions you can take. As you draw and have opportunity to get to these, you'll get special abilities to do this. How do I know that without playing the game? Because I've played more than one. What is this? Oh, advertising more games to me. I mean, it's a good game. I've played a couple of their other games. Is there anything here I've played before they're advertising? I've seen some folks playing Heroes of Normandy before. I have not played it, but I have seen it being played. Let's see here. That's the one I recognize. Because I've played it with some youngins, The Age of Towers. It's kind of fun. Yeah, so yeah, they know what they're doing. They can make a game. They know how to make a war game. Next thing in here, you've got whole different kinds of tiles. So again, more little pieces to get lost. So let's see here. These are orc. They're what, cubes? Tokens? I don't know. I have to play the game to find out. And then of course these ones are blue, so they're for our Ultramarines. And then we've got 2 sets of dice, 2 black ones and 2 blue ones. The black ones obviously are for the orcs, the blue ones are for your Ultramarines. So there's a lot in here. The reason the box is so heavy is these big cardboard pieces. Obviously once we punch all of those out, it won't weigh quite as much. But still quite a bit. And then we've got the terrain. Remember that every time you buy a board game, there's a second game that comes with it. Getting everything back in the box. We're pretty good about keeping our games together because we're just a dorky household. So everyone in the household is invested in making sure the games don't get torn apart. That's not true everywhere. So if you're going to make this kind of investment, which again is a choice, if the traditional Warhammer route isn't working for you, too expensive, can't find people to play with, this might be an option. You got people that'll play Monopoly. Well then, here you go. So, they might be willing to play this with you. You got folks that play chess and checkers. This is more advanced chess. I stand by it. I play chess. I was captain of the chess club in college. I've been a nerd my whole life. So yeah, this is a really good option. I really enjoyed opening this with you all. Hopefully I'll get a chance to play it this week before Christmas break is over and we have to, go back to work. So I hope you enjoyed that. I really did. There are a lot of options with Warhammer. Like, is it expensive? Yeah. But when you get good and grown, most of what you love is expensive. Like I said, I mean, how many people out there have the car that they're going to finish? How many of us have 1,000 started projects, the set of bookshelves, the painting we were going to learn, the instrument we were going to play? Here's my recommendation. Do it when you can do it. There is no secret sauce because, part of growing up and having families and being grown is you don't always have time for your hobbies. That's just how it works. I wish it wasn't that way. Like, I love Guild Wars. I don't have a lot of time to get immersed in an MMORPG because I have a pretty hefty work schedule regularly. And if I'm going to play Guild Wars, I need a good solid 8 hours apiece because I'm going to be in it as long as I can be in it. Or if I just want to zone out and play The Sims, I need like 3 free hours, or even to, get into the books that I want to read right now. I need free time to do that. It's okay. Everyone doesn't have all the free time all the time. Get to your hobbies when you can and look for those other ways to enjoy a hobby or a property that you may not have thought of before, especially like the board games, the pre-cons, the pre-configs. You don't want to invest in a commander deck from Magic the Gathering. Play Jumpstart. Pre-configured decks, you open them up, boom, you play. It's great. Games like Flux. Flux is awesome. You just do what the cards say. There's not even any rules with Flux. The rules are do what the cards say. And it's a ton of fun, and there's many versions of Flux. So find the option that at least gets you to have as much fun as you can. And again, there's versions of these property games where you can play on your own if you don't have people around that you can play with. We're going to look at one of those in the next Warhammer Wednesday, and then I'll get back to reading because this is fun. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.